section of the program is titled The Republican Lens, the Democratic Lens. And I am sure that we were able, through these two presentations, to get the different ideological and the policy framework, and to see the differences as highlighted by our speakers. At this time, we're going to take questions from the floor.
Citizen George Lopez.
Welcome, Citizen George Lopez.
My question is, I'd have expected Mr. Donald Trump to lay out the audited financial statement of himself personally and his company so that we can know the full facts of his business transaction as a multi-billionaire over that period of time. He refuses to do that, which says that he's hiding something.
So you'd like Congressman Hill to respond?
No, I don't finish. So why is he hiding all of that information that we need to know? I'd also like to know that I would welcome if the Democratic Party or the Hillary Clinton team could do an audit, could do a poll in various countries, Jamaica and otherwise, to see if they had voting rights, who they vote for based on information that they have. And that will show the American people what are the preferences of his friends, the Germans, Jamaicans, English as the case might be, which is an indication that the American presidential election is so important to us.
Thank you.
So we'd like to ask Mr. Hill to respond.
Okay, the question was, why doesn't Donald Trump release his income tax statement so we can all see what is in it? My response to that would be, it's none of your business. It is none of your business. Because what is in his income tax statement is his business, how he operates his businesses, what income he makes and what he doesn't make. That does not determine how he is going to function as a president of what is in his income taxes. Now, I would say this, if Donald Trump is requested to release his income tax statements, I would say let's also do an audit on the Clinton Family Foundation.
Bring it on.
Which we know is corrupt, which we know has committed.
How could you know that if it hasn't been audited?
Because WikiLeaks says so.
Oh,
Okay, now wait. We are not in a debate right now. I'm answering his question. When the question's directed to you, I will let you answer it, and I will not rudely interrupt. Okay? Now, the second part of your question was, why don't we poll or get information from foreign countries to see what they think about the United States? Because you're not United States citizens. United States citizens are the ones who are voting for our next president, not other countries. It is up then to whoever that president is through diplomacy to have good relations with other countries, but you are not to influence what goes on in our nation, just like we should not influence what goes on in your nation.
You stood up and so beautifully and eloquently described these four things that you stood for. Limited government, low taxes. Well, this man didn't even pay taxes. And we don't even know whether he paid low taxes or high taxes or no taxes because Mr. Trump won't release his tax return. So you know what? I disrespectfully disagree with you so much you can't even imagine. The thought that you would sit here to the Jamaican people and tell them it was none of their business nor none of our Americans' business. What Mr. Trump's business interests are, when he wants to be the president of our country, he will have a conflict. I can almost bet you if we saw those tax returns, the reason we're not seeing them is number one, he didn't pay taxes. So he is not paying for your own son, who I so admire for serving our nation, not even bother to pay for his military. He admitted he didn't pay taxes. He admitted in the debate he did not pay taxes. In fact, he said it showed how smart he was, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's your definition of low taxes, I don't buy into it at all. Talk about individual responsibility. Paying your taxes is an individual responsibility. No, I'm going to rebut whatever I want to rebut. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and cannot say. That's also the personal freedom you just spoke about, by the way. So if you really do stand by those 4 tenets, you're going to not stop me from saying whatever I want to say because I have the personal freedom to say that, don't I? Okay. Thank you. The hypocrisy, as you can see, and the arrogance of the Trump people, this is what you're seeing. It's none of your business. You can't see this. You know, what he does is his business. This is all a propaganda, right? And it's all a guise to hide a man who is not equipped nor prepared to barely even run his business. He filed for bankruptcy, I don't know how many times. He had to settle with the federal government because he was racist against African Americans and wouldn't rent to African Americans. We don't forget these things. I don't care that he sexually assaulted somebody who was 11 years ago. When you sexually assault somebody 11 years ago, you will always be a sexual assaulter, right? Just because you committed a crime many years ago doesn't go away.
Hello everyone, my name is Bruce Miller. I'm an American citizen, Jamaican born. Let me address the congressman first. I lived through the Bush era assault. That's what I call it. When you say movement and the ability to raise your family, as a result of those Bush era tax cuts, we had the secondary mortgage market go downhill. People could not pay their housing. How can you guarantee that we're not going to go through another 8 years?
So that's the question.
Yes, another 8 years with an irascible, unreasonable person who, we were there before with Bush. I went to bed and Al Gore won. I woke up, Florida was in contention. How can you guarantee that we are not going to go through the exact same thing that we did that took us 8 years to get out of with Obama, that we're going to go back there again? How can we guarantee that? Because I don't believe it.
Yes, thank you for that question. And I'll start by saying I can't guarantee you anything. No one knows what the future is going to hold for us. And I would also like to say that all of you have assumed that I am a Trump supporter. All of you have assumed that I am staunchly Republican Party, and I tried to make clear during my presentation that I am a constitutional conservative, which is not necessarily establishment Republican values and goals. My first choice in this whole presidential race was Governor Scott Walker, and then Governor Scott Walker dropped out very quickly. My next choice was Mr. Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson then dropped out of the race. I then became a supporter of Senator Ted Cruz because he matched my thought process so much about the Constitution. When Donald Trump became the nominee, that is who I supported because he is the nominee. It's not because that was necessarily my choice. Now, that being said, the things that happened during the Bush era years, again, I cannot say I have any control over what happened then, the tax cuts, what took place, but I will say this, that you say the top 1% don't pay taxes, which is not accurate. The top 5%, okay, if I said that wrong, I apologize, I correct. Okay, not saying that. The top 5% of the wage earners in the United States pay more than 50% of the taxes. That's a fact. And here's the other thing to keep in mind. Simply because the government takes more money from the rich does not make you any richer. If the government takes that money, it belongs to the government. It doesn't belong to the free economic system where it can be used to generate new businesses, new industries, where you can hire people. When people are hired, that's how they become wealthy, is when they are earning income. So just taking from the rich does not make the poor any better.
Renee, thank you for the question, by the way, and thank you for your hard work. I'm sorry that you have to be near Trump Tower at all. What are you going to do? Let me just say this. Again, I truly, and from the bottom of my heart, I admire Representative Hill's military service to our nation. He knows that I respect him with the utmost respect. But there are a lot of Republicans, including President George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Mitt Romney, Republicans that I respect, oh, thank you, who do not put their party before their country. So you don't have to support Donald Trump, Mr. Lord, I just forgot your name, Mr. Hill. So, Renee, I don't think we should give him, I don't think it has to be that way, because there are a lot of Republicans who are putting their country before their party, okay? And I would love to see Mr. Hill do that by the end of the week as well, right? I'm working on it. The second thing is, I could not disagree more with this 1% tax that we're talking about, this taxing the 1%. Bottom line is, here's a fact. The 1%, the top 1% of the United States do not pay their fair and proportionate tax in the United States, right? Period. We all know that's a fact. Now, when we're going to tax them proportionally and fairly, I disagree with you. It does help the poor and the middle class. What we know doesn't work is the Bush Republican trickle-down Trump tax plan, which is to give more tax breaks to the top 1%. And what did it get us into? The worst recession. When President Obama took office, he inherited the worst recession since the Great Depression in the United States. That's what Trump taxes, Republican tax plans do for the United States. I don't know about any of you, and Renee, I don't know about you, but I don't want that again.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay?
Vela.
We know it doesn't work.
Thank you, Mr. Vela.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Vela, my question to you is, there are a lot of gray areas around because, this is it. Donald Trump is not liked by a majority of persons, but the option or the other option to Donald Trump, a lot of persons aren't readily buying into it. And one of the reasons for that would be the gray areas around the Clinton Foundation as well as her email scandals. Can you just reassure us of the integrity, please?
Finally, a question.
I'll be happy to. Is this on? Yeah? Thank you for raising that question, actually. I appreciate you bringing that up. A couple of things. First, on the Clinton Foundation, okay? We can talk about the Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation has opened their books. It has been ranked as one of the top foundations in the United States, and the reason is 90% of the money the Clinton Foundation raises goes to actually help people around the world. If you want to go look it up, all you have to do is go and look up and see the millions of people in Africa who are getting HIV and AIDS treatment because of the Clinton Foundation. Number one. Number two, the Clintons have not personally benefited financially from the Clinton Foundation. Financially, they have not. Can you show, Mike, that they've ever received a dime from the Clinton Foundation?
How about $10 million?
You're telling the people right now, you're saying that that Bill and Hillary Clinton have personally received $10 million from the Clinton Foundation. You are actually saying that to the people of Jamaica?
I am saying
that is a flat out lie.
The Clintons have grown rich off of.
And Donald Trump is poor and pays all his taxes. Oh my Lord.
You asked me the question.
You just said that they have received $10 million. Is that a fact?
No.
Okay, so that was a lie.
Tens of millions of dollars.
Oh my Lord.
They have grown rich through this corrupt foundation. Everyone knows it's corrupt. And they have not given the majority of the money to the poor. That is why the Haitian government, as we speak right now, is complaining about the Clinton Family Crime Foundation.
I have to tell you, as much respect as I have for you, your comments about them on this note are disgraceful. And I'll tell you why. Because you know what? I love how y'all want to pick on the Clintons when you can go back and see the millions of people they're helping. Exactly. You raised God today. You raised God. No, I am answering the question. I already answered the question. I specifically said that you...
I feel like a referee. We're going to have to
hold on. The answer to the question is, we can discuss the Clinton Foundation all day because they have helped millions of people around the world. And 90% of their money. But you made a horrible accusation that is a flat out lie. They have, just for the record, just for the people of Jamaica, Let's speak the truth here. I always speak the truth. The Clintons have never made $10 million in their personal account from the Clinton Foundation. Let's just state facts.